With the start of Donald Trump's second presidential term on January 20, 2025, the United States entered an unprecedented phase in its immigration policy, one shaped by extensive securitization, restrictions on fundamental rights of non-citizens, and an expansion of federal authority. In the very first hours of his new term, Trump issued several executive orders that rapidly transformed the legal and humanitarian foundations of the U.S. immigration system, from limiting birthright citizenship to invoking 18th century laws for the mass detention and removal of migrants. The first controversial action was Executive Order 14-160, which halted the automatic granting of citizenship to infants born on U.S. soil whose parents lack permanent residency. This order immediately faced opposition from at least 22 states, which considered it a direct violation of the 14th Amendment. Federal Judge Joseph LaPlante described the policy as an irreparable harm, issuing a nationwide injunction that temporarily suspended its enforcement. Simultaneously, through the order titled Protecting the American People from Invasion, Trump declared irregular migration a threat to national security and instructed the Department of Homeland Security and the Attorney General to prioritize criminal prosecution of unauthorized entrants. This order blurred the distinction between migrant, asylum seeker, and security threat, transforming migration from an administrative matter into a criminal one. But the peak of this security-driven approach emerged on March 15, 2025, when Trump invoked the Alien Enemies Act of 1798, designating Venezuelan migrants suspected of ties to the group Tren de Aragua as enemy aliens. In a single day, more than 200 Venezuelans, without trial, without lawyers, and without any proven link, were transferred directly to the high-security Secot prison in El Salvador. Human rights organizations described this action as an explicit case of enforced disappearance and a violation of the principle of non-refoulement. Continuing this trajectory, the Securing Our Borders executive order was issued to militarize the southern border. The Pentagon immediately deployed 1,500 active duty troops to the area, bringing the total number of military personnel stationed at the border to 4,000. Alongside this military presence, the use of spy satellites, renewed construction of the border wall, and mass detention of undocumented migrants created a new landscape of U.S. border governance. In addition, the executive order, protecting the United States from foreign terrorists, paved the way for sweeping visa restrictions, and the State Department suspended visa issuance for citizens of 13 countries, including Iran, Sudan, Yemen, Somalia, Afghanistan, and Eritrea altogether. As a result, migration was framed not merely as a security concern, but as an ideological and identity-based threat. Within the United States, these policies triggered an extensive legal battle. In the Trump v. Casa case, although the Supreme Court limited the authority of lower courts to issue nationwide injunctions, it allowed class-based injunctions to continue, enabling the ongoing suspension of Executive Order 14-60. Human Rights Watch warned that transferring migrants to foreign prisons and invoking the Alien Enemies Act represents a return to practices rooted in racial prejudice, similar to the wartime detention of Japanese Americans, later recognized as a fundamental injustice. The Brennan Center likewise argued that these policies violate due process, freedom from arbitrary detention, and the right to seek asylum. International reactions were also strong. Mexico protested the designation of its cartels as terrorist organizations and warned it would not tolerate any violation of national sovereignty. Colombia, objecting to the treatment of its deported citizens, who had been transported in handcuffs and shackles, initially refused to accept planes carrying deportees and later deployed its own air force to repatriate 201 nationals. In Europe, the discursive effects of Trump's policies became visible, from new anti-immigration bills in the United Kingdom to the rhetoric of a migration influx in France. Ultimately, the series of immigration policies enacted by Trump in his second term constitutes more than a set of executive decisions. It forms a political and identity-driven project built on three pillars: the securitization of migration, the expansion of federal authority, and the redefinition of citizenship. These policies transform migration from a human and social issue into one framed as security-based, identity-based, and ideological. Their consequences extend far beyond migrant communities, reshaping the foundations of American democracy, federalism, and human rights, an outlook that many experts describe as dangerous, opaque, and unprecedented.